Hey kiddos, it is time to factor and expand some expressions. Remember, when we're talking about expressions, we're not going to have a final answer. We're trying to simplify, okay? Simplify. So let's take a look. We're using the area method, which you guys have also heard referred to as the box method. So this is nothing new to you. Um, what we're doing is we're looking at the values on both sides and we're multiplying them, distributing them. So 5 times 4a, remember the only time we can combine a number and a variable is when we're multiplying. So 5 times 4a is 20a. 5 times 6 is 30. So if we were to factor and expand this, we would get 20a plus 30. Remember to bring your plus and minus signs through when you are working it out. All right, 6 times 7 is 42. The 6 is negative, so my 42 is negative. 6 and b is 6b, because really when it's by itself, it's like a 1. This is also negative. So we have negative 42 minus 6b. And if you wanted to do your keep, change, you could. Either would be correct. Coming down here, 9 times 10 is 90. It's negative. 9 times 6 is 54. C, it's positive because they're the same sign. 9 times 3 is 27. D, it's negative because we have opposite signs. We have a C and a D. They're different letters. They cannot be put together. So we have negative 90 plus 54C minus 27D. Or you could also do plus negative. Both of those would be correct. All right, over here, 11 times 2 is 22. E, 11 times 9 is 99. F, 11 times negative 1 is negative 11. So for this one, we have 22E plus 99F minus 11 or plus a negative 11. Moving right along. This time I gave you the boxes, but I did not give you the values. So take your negative 4, it goes out front. Our 8 and our negative 12G pop up. 8 times 4 is 32. It's negative. 12 times 4 is 48. Bring your G. It's positive because the signs are the same. So for this one, we have negative. Oh, my negative kind of got eaten by the 3. Negative 32 plus 48G. Over here, shrink it a little bit. We have our 7. We have our H. We have our negative 15 and our negative 4J. 7 times 1 is 7 with my H. 7 times 15 is 105. It's negative. 7 times 4 is 28J, also negative. So if we break it out, 7H plus negative 105 plus negative 28J, or you could just put them as subtractions. That is our first page. Any questions? Bring them with you to class. All right, Nuggets, on to page number 2, where we are simplifying each expression. This is just like what you did on the last page. The only difference is that I took away your boxes. So feel free to draw your boxes if you found that strategy to be helpful. But what we're doing is we are distributing. So 8 times K is 8K. 8 times 9 is 72. Not sure why it just changed it to yellow, but it did. So we have 8K plus 72. Over here, we're going to share it out. So negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15. Don't forget your M. Moving and grooving, sharing our negative 9 with all of our friends. Remember to pull the sign from in front. Negative 9 times 6 is 54N. It's negative, opposite signs. Negative 9 times negative 3 is positive 27P. Negative 9 times 1 is negative 9. Over here, sharing out my 4. We have 4Q plus 12 minus 28R. Now, if any of these variables were the same, we could combine them further, but so far, the letters have been different. 7 times 9 is 63 with our S. 7 and 8 is 56, but it's negative because the 8 has a negative. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21T. And then the last one on this page, sharing the 2 with everybody. Don't forget the signs. 2 times 8 is 16. It's negative. Negative 2 times 10 is negative 20. Negative 2 times 5 is positive 10. Negative 2 times negative 9 is positive 18z. Again, W, X, Y, Z. I'm funny, but can't put them together. They're all different. Okay, any questions? Bring them to class. All right, love bugs, another one where I gave you the area model, but this time I gave you the answer and you have to work backwards. I know. Plot twist. We have to pull it apart though. So if I divide my 10 into P, I have just P. If I divide my 10 into 40, I have 4 and it has to be negative because our outside is positive. That means that the 10 would go on the outside and on the inside it would be P minus 4. Over here, we're trying to see what we're missing. So 10 times what would give you 20, and 7 times what would give you 14. It has to be the same number. The number missing is 2. So 2 times 10 plus 7q gives us our answer. Over here again, working backwards to figure out what we could divide by. So what would divide into 28 to be 4, divide into 14 to be 2, and divide into 49 to give you 7, the answer is going to be 7. Now to decide what it should be, we look at the first one. Positive times positive would be positive. Positive times positive is positive. Positive times negative is negative, which means that the 7 has to be positive to give us all of those situations. So for R, plus 2 minus 7s. Okay, any questions? Bring them to class. Over here, what's missing? 6 times what gives me 66? It would be 11t, and it's positive because our final answer is negative, and for that we have to have opposite signs. 6 times 6 is 36. For it to be positive, that would have to be a negative 1. We have to bring our u. 6 times 7 is 42. For it to be negative, the 7 has to be positive. So negative 6 out front, inside is 11t minus 6u plus 7. Moving and grooving. So now I have an answer of 25 and an answer of 65V. Put those in your boxes. This is called gradual release of responsibility, kiddos. You're doing it all on your own. So now I need to figure out what times what gives me 25, but if multiplied by another number would also give me 65. So I really have to think here. So you could do some guess and check. I start with 5 times 5 is 25 because those are the only two numbers that I know that multiply to 25. So although it seems a little bit hard, there are only 2 factors like that would give me 25, other than 1 and 25, but 25 times something isn't going to give me 65, and 1 times something isn't going to give me 65 unless it was 65. So let's take a peek. Let's do 5 and 5, 5 and 13, got to have a V. So we have 5 and 5 plus 13V. And then over here, again, I gave you the answer. You have to give me all the pieces. So we have 45, we have minus 27W, and we have a minus 63X. So to have 2 negatives and 1 positive, that tells me that the outside is going to either have to be negative or positive. Not a ton of information. So I need to think. What can go into 45, 27, and 63? This is a great time to do your factors if you're not sure. I'm going to come up with a 9. And I'm going to keep it positive and try it out. 9 times 6 is 45. 9 times 3 is 27. In order for my answer to be negative, that 3 needs to be negative. And then 9 times 7 gives me 63. Again, needs to be negative. This is going to work out. So pull out your 9, 6, 3W, and 7X. This one was tricky, but I'm trying to stretch you guys a little bit more lately. Any questions? Bring them to class. All right, factor and expand. We have a 90A plus 44. So we need to figure out what our common factor is. We can pull out a 2. If we pull out a 2, we have 45A plus 22. Coming over here, if I pull out a 7, I have 1 minus 2B. So again, looking for those common factors. Common factor of 20, 50, and 80 is going to be 10. 10 times 2, whoop, that should be a C. There we go. 10 times 2 gives you 20. Bring your C. 10 times -5 is going to give me my -50, and then 10 times -8. Over here, common factor of 9, 15, and 12 is going to be 3. And we'll see what we need inside and then decide if we need it to be positive or negative. So my first value is going to be negative. So let's try and put a negative sign out here. So -3 times 3 would give me 9. -3 times 5 would give me -15. And then -3 times 4 would give me a negative. So we have -3, 3 plus 5e plus 4f. All right, we have 81, 36, and 18. I can pull a 9 out from all of them. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times -2 would give me -18h. And then we have one more on this page. 25, 10, 50, and 65 all share a 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times -2 is -10. 5 times -10 is -50. And 5 times +13 would give me 65. Any questions? Bring them to class. Last one, circle the error made, then find the correct answer. So if we're looking here, we're sharing out our 9. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 4 should be -36. The correct answer is 55y minus 36. So we're looking for the mistake. So here I have 5 times 7 and 5 times 4. I cannot put them together because one is a number and one is a variable. What I should have is -5 times 7 is -35. -5 times 4 is -20z. Coming down here, sharing my 2 with everybody. 2 times 6 is not 8. That would be added. So -2 times -6 is, whoa, I still had the brain on the same thing. 6 times 2 is 12. It's positive. 2 times 10 is 20. It's negative. 2 times C is 2C. It's positive. Popping over here. 3 times 12 is 36. That checks out. 3 times 7 is not 4. Let's go. 3 times 12 is 36. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times -6 is -18e. 2 more. Sharing out my 10 with all of my friends. 10 times 3 is 30. 10 times g. The g is missing. So we have our 30f. 10 times -g is -10g. 10 times -8 is -80. Last one over here. Sharing out our 7 with all of our friends. There we go. Perfect. 7 times 11, this checks out. 7 times 2, this checks out. 7 times -3, this checks out. But this one is missing the k. So 77 plus 14h minus 21j plus 7k. That brings us to the end for this week. Questions? Bring them to class.